Good morning, Booktube. We are coming to you live on location in Lakehurst, New Jersey. Also, by live, I mean I'm outside the laundromat while my clothes are in the washer. So, thought I'd check in and make a little video to kill some time. Interesting little bit of history for you. The town I'm in, Lakehurst, New Jersey, this is the town where the Hindenburg went up in flames all those years ago. The famous disaster. I think it's also the image that's used on the cover of Led Zeppelin's first album. There's bound to be a site or a park around here somewhere, so I'll be sure and check that out. Get back to you on that. But until then, to kill the time, I took out one of my all-time favorite reads, and that is The Hustler by Walter Tevis. Interesting story with this one. Walter Tevis first came across this one a few years ago, and if you hear all the cars, that's because I'm right next to the road in town. There we go. So Walter Tevis, like a few years ago, Barnes & Noble had a table out of his books, and I saw one of them was The Queen's Gambit, which at the time was just adapted into a Netflix miniseries. I would see it later on. Absolutely loved it. So I saw the book on the table, Queen's Gambit. I thought, oh, okay, the show is based on a book. That's interesting. And then next to that was another one, The Hustler. And I just looked at the cover, and first of all, the name didn't ring a bell at first, but then I saw like the photo. See, like, there's like two men shooting pool. And it occurred to me, this is one of my all-time favorite movies. Like, there was a movie called The Hustler, starring Paul Newman, Jackie Gleason, George C. Scott, and Piper Laurie. Piper Laurie, I think it's safe to say, is most famously known for a movie she made in the 70s, a little film he made of her called Carrie. She plays Carrie White's mother. This movie came out in the early 60s. So you had The Hustler. I never knew it was based on a book, so really caught me by surprise. Before I get into a little bit about what the story is about, I tell you, as you can guess by the name, it's about an interesting group of characters in the old pool halls back in the day. This book came out in the 1950s. I can tell you, you talk about well-written characters, like these guys hanging around the pool hall. I can probably, each character in the book, I probably know at least like a few guys just like that. So it's like talk about a little slice of reality. We're very well written. First start with The Hustler. Here's what it's about. It takes place in Chicago. These guys in the pool hall, they hear like there's this guy coming, like Eddie Felson. He's this pool player from California. He's been hustling along, as told by the title. He's been hustling pool. He's been taking down like the big winners in California, and he's coming to Chicago to take on some of their top pool players. And like people have heard of this guy. It's like Fast Eddie, like his name, Fast Eddie Felson. That was Paul Newman in the movie. And so Fast Eddie comes to town, and he challenges a character by the name of Minnesota Fats. That's his name. He's like the large fella right here. That was Jackie Gleason's role in the movie. Couldn't have been more tailor-made for that role. And so like it opens up like with a pool game. And it's incredible. Like these games, these are like wars of attrition. It's like they start at night. The games that they go one after another. It's like you keep going and going. They go into the night. They get like their booze, like a couple of extracurricular, substances. It's a little wordy, but they're drugs. They're little amphetamines and whatnot, any other illegal substances. And they go into the night, eventually into the morning, where like they have to put up like black curtains to cover the windows so they continue this marathon. And so Fast Eddie, he gets the attention of a professional gambler who hangs around the pool hall. And this professional gambler wants to take Eddie on the road. He's going to back him, put him in tournaments, and also hustle a game or two along the way. And that's the story. We follow like Fast Eddie and this gambler on their little road trip, so to speak. One of the things you hear a lot about on Booktube as well, we talk about like when we compare a book to the movie, like which ending did we like better. I can tell you, if I had to compare the book to the movie, I love them both. So it's a win-win. We get two great endings, but I have to say, I like the movie a little bit better. Because in the book, we follow the professional gambler and Fast Eddie Eddie Felson on the road. In the movie, Fast Eddie's girlfriend comes with them, the one played by Piper Laurie. She comes with them on the road in the movie. So her presence alone takes the story in two completely different directions. And I say needless to say, the movie was a lot more impactful. That's to say the least. So yeah, like I said, if you don't have time to read the book, I couldn't recommend the movie even more. Like, with the exception of the ending, as I just said, as faithful an adaptation as you'll see. And like I said, talk about well-written characters. I mean, these are like very real people. I think even on the back here, there's a quote from Time magazine on the back. It says, "If Hemingway had, as in Ernest Hemingway, if Hemingway had the passion for pool that he had for bullfighting, his hero might be Eddie Felson." I think that sums it up perfectly too. So yeah, could not recommend this more. One little note about the movie too. I think the impact that movie had and how great it was. Like I said, if you know the actors Paul Newman and Jackie Gleason, I think it's safe to say like they used their silhouettes for the artwork on this photo, because if you look at it, that looks like Paul Newman's outline. That certainly looks like Jackie Gleason's outline too. Just to show you how recognizable and impactful that movie was. Let's see. Like I said, Walter Tevis, Queen's Gambit. I gotta read that one next. I love the miniseries. Also, I'll leave you with one other little tidbit. There's a sequel to this. The sequel to The Hustler, it's called The Color of Money. I've only seen the movie too. I have not read the book yet. I have to pick that up next. In the movie, Paul Newman comes back as Eddie Felson, and he has a young prodigy. In the movie, he was played by young Tom Cruise. This came out like the early 80s. So yeah, Paul Newman and a young Tom Cruise. It was an amazing movie, so I can assume the book is just as incredible. So yes. So yeah, I got two on my list. The Color of Money and The Queen's Gambit. Needless to say, so far, I think Walter Tevis is going to be one of my all-time favorite writers. There we go, folks. The Hustler. Could not recommend it more. Okay. And on that note, I probably have about like 5 more minutes left on the washing machine, so I will leave you there. Take care, everyone.